Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your new show, your daily Rangers news. I know what you're thinking, Martin. Why did you start this during an international break? And the correct answer is, I'll be honest with you, I've no idea. But the afternoon rabbles are no more. You will have a show at 5 o'clock, Monday to Friday, which will be your Rangers news. Like I said, my name's Martin. Hello. I am the host of the Rangers Rabble podcast. Um, Please do get your comments in, folks. Let me know your thoughts on all the latest news, and I'll read some out and respond to some as well. What I will say is, folks, we are, like I say, a podcast. Yes, we are an independent Rangers podcast who relies solely on our members. So, if you enjoy the content, please do give a like and make sure you're subscribed on the old YouTube channel. That is absolutely free. And if you want access to more content, Monday night, Tuesday night, Friday night shows, a daily phone in, we've got Random Rabbles, we've got Extreme Gaming Podcast, we've got Rabble Wrestling, we've got random shows as well. You can get most of that for as little as £1.99 per month. Join up now, join the community of nearly 600 members and help the Rangers rabble grow. I haven't got a haircut for everybody in the comments. I've literally just brushed it back because I'm needing a haircut and a shave. For those of you who were on the morning rabble phone-in show this morning, you would have seen a picture of me from 8 years ago, and it's pretty horrendous. Pretty horrendous. But anyway, let's get into the Rangers news, shall we? And it does appear that Tottenham Hotspur are very interested in taking Rangers' Nico Raskin. Put the Nirvana t-shirt on. Thomas Frank is an admirer. He wants to bring Raskin into Spurs to give him more options in the midfield area. So that's something to keep your eyes closely peeled on. That doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. Something to look at during January. The possibility of Nico Raskin going to Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I don't know. I've not heard any figures and what Tottenham would be offering, but what we have heard is that Rangers want at minimum 18 million for Nico. He has a year and a bit left on his contract. Multiple man, you absolutely kill me. But it is a move that I think we all know as Rangers supporters, if we're all being honest, it is most certainly a move I think that Nico would be interested in. And the question that we have to ask ourselves is, do we hold on to Nico until the end of the season and then try and sell him with a year left on his contract, or do we sell now while there's a team interested and a team willing to pay some at least half decent money? No, we're not going to get anywhere near what we wanted for Nico. That was never going to happen. But we could possibly get something. So that's the kind of situation I think that Rangers are in right now. Like I say, that the asking price Rangers are looking for is between 18 and 20. I would think if we could get now 18 million for Raskin, albeit he's worth a lot more than that, but the position that we're in, if we can get 18 million for Raskin, then I think that would probably be a fair deal right now. Although Danny Rowe does not want to lose him, I think Danny Rowe wants to keep him in his squad for the rest of this season. But I think we have spoke so much about how involved will Danny Rowe be in the buying process. I think in terms of the selling process, if the club feel that offer is too good, then they will take it. And that's every club. That is not just Rangers. Connor, welcome along. I realise I ask you that as soon as you take a big gulp of Dr. Pepper.
Thanks for that.
But yes, just very quickly on this, Spurs interested in Raskin, Connor. It is, if Spurs are really interested, I think it's a deal that probably will happen.
Yeah, if they're serious about it, of course it will. If they're serious about it and they put in the right offer for the right price, it's almost impossible to turn down. And you have to say that we've all been critical of the club in the past for, seemingly bulking on good offers, good deals at the time, and then, a year or two down the line, that same player walks out the door for nothing. You only have to look at the Alfredo Morelos example to see that. Upwards of around £18 million offered for him. We turn it down. He leaves for absolutely nothing. They won't want to repeat those mistakes. So if Spurs are serious and they show the real intent and they make an offer that is, I think personally, got to be somewhere north of £10 million, then the club, I think, has no choice but to accept it, and we would have to wish Nico Raskin well. My concern would be who replaces him, would be who makes the decisions on who replaces him, because I'm not sure I would trust Kevin Thilwell or Dan Purdy at this moment in time to make those decisions given their track record. So I would hope that, as you mentioned there, I would hope that Danny Rule really does have an element of control over this. If and when this happens, if it is in January, if it is in the summer, whatever, I hope he gets the say on who comes in, because the judgment of the other two is questionable at best at this moment in time.
Well, the murmurs coming out of Rangers are that they want between 18 and 20 million for Nico Raskin right now, Connor. That's just what we're hearing. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. But if there's a bit of, and I know that 18 million for Tottenham Hotspur isn't a lot of money, because Daniel Levy's not there anymore, or he is there but he's leaving or whatever, right? So 18 million for Tottenham is like a drop in the ocean. Is that a figure, a fee, do you think, that Rangers can try and squeeze out of them?
I would be surprised if you got 18 million. I'd be surprised if they got exactly what they asked for. I think
Belgian international, and doing really well at international level.
Belgian international. He's still a young player. He's still got a bit to prove, because as much as he is a Belgian international, he's by no means the finished article, the finished product. And as good as he can be, and we know how good he can be when he is at it, and I've said it before, he's the best midfielder, not just in our squad, but arguably in Scottish football when he's at it. And I have to be key when I say that, because some people would fly at me going, what are you talking about? When he's on his best game, he is. But with that kind of inconsistency, I think Spurs are likely to try and get a better deal out of it. I would say 18 million is a good start point. It's a good high starting point to go at. And then if you get negotiated down, I would imagine it'll end up being somewhere more in the ballpark of 15 million with an add-on or a sell-on clause, which is something that's important, because that's something we haven't utilised very well over the years. Across the city they've made millions over the last few years on sell-on clauses for players that even some players, that like Odson Edward and that left them years ago, they still, they've made money on down the line. So that's something we've got to be very, very keen on doing as well, and make sure if you sell them for 15 million, you get a good sell-on clause, and then that allows you to still cash in and ultimately get the amount that you would want roughly anyway, probably.
Yeah, and as Scott's saying, they have already said that Rowe will have final say, not on outgoing transfers they want. No manager has final say on outgoing. If Tottenham Hotspur come in and say to Rangers, there's 18 million, we want Raskin is gone. Let's not kid ourselves. Danny Rowe has absolutely no power in that situation. Like, no manager across Europe has that power in that situation. Just finally on this, before we move on to the new set piece coach, Connor, it's all right talking about what Rangers want and what Danny Rowe wants. If Raskin wants to go, Raskin wants to go.
Well, there is that aspect as well. You have to always look at that in its own context, because if the player decides, do you know what, I fancy a new challenge, I want to go, you can't force him to stay. Or you can, but it never ends well when you try and do that, because that's when you end up with situations where players start phoning it in, but they start just not bothering, not caring. And before you know it, their valuation has went from 18 million to about 4. That's the major gamble you take, and I just don't see them taking that gamble. If Raskin wants to go and Spurs make a decent enough offer, or we can negotiate a good enough deal, then he'll go. I think he would go with our best wishes. Yes, I'm sure he would say and tell you himself that he would have liked to have achieved more in terms of silverware and success in his time at Rangers. I think there's no doubt about that. The fact is, if he were to leave in January or in the summer, he'll be leaving without having ever won a league title with Rangers, which is a disappointment for any Rangers player who would come here. He will.
I don't think we need to worry, Connor, because CFC is saying talking crap against Spurs will not touch Raskin. So thank you, CFC, for letting us know. So we don't even need to talk about it anymore, Connor. But Spurs don't want them. CFC has got some inside information.
Well, it's always the same, isn't it? Supporters of that club seem to always know more about the inside inner workings of our club than we do, than anybody does. They've got inside lines that we just don't know about.
Yes.
Apparently, so
they've got their finger on the pulse, Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. They've 100% got their finger on the pulse. So what do we know? We'll just it's not like they've got their own worries or anything like that.
If you want to know anything about Rangers, go and watch a Celtic podcast. If you want to know anything about anything else, come and watch a Rangers podcast. There we go. That's pretty much the golden rule, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we don't know. Obviously, it's speculation, it's rumour at this point. It's always speculation and rumour, though, until deals get made, until offers officially get put in. That's just what it's going to be. There's nothing you can do other than talk about it like that. We're not sitting here talking about it in the absolute, so that this is happening. We're just saying
reports are Thomas Frank likes him. Reports are.
Exactly. That's the reports. That's what we're hearing. So we roll with that. If Spurs are serious and they do want to make an offer, then all we're saying is the door is very much open and Rangers will negotiate a good deal with them. It is as simple as that.
We could, Connor, sit and talk about a manager openly admitting to asking his players to cheat. We could do that. But I don't want to go down that road because I'm not that type of person, Connor. Right, moving on swiftly from the Raskin stuff. Rangers have appointed, Connor, a new set-piece coach, Scott Fry, who started his coaching career off at the Wolves Academy before moving to Lincoln. As a goalkeeping coach, it has to be said, which does seem quite typically Rangers. Go for a set-piece coach who didn't start out a set-piece coach, but I suppose most set-piece coaches probably don't start out set-piece coaches, to be fair. But this has been done, Connor, with data used to find overperforming set-piece teams in Europe and the UK. Now, for me, this isn't like bringing in a player, right? If Rangers bring in a player for Lincoln, we're all going, whoa, Lincoln? Really? Set-piece coach is a set-piece coach, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know how all that data works and stuff like that. I'm not sure, what is they look at?
Goals conceded from set pieces, goals scored, chances made.
Yeah, maybe, but again, the guy's obviously a former goalkeeping coach. He's now obviously in the track as a set piece coach for us. It's no question, regardless of whatever people want to look at with his credentials or not, we badly have needed this for a long time because our set pieces at both ends of the pitch, quite frankly, Martin, have not been good enough for far too long. I'd say for at least the last 2 years, ever since
ironically, Connor, the only time we've been good for set pieces is when we've had Raskin in the team.
Well, that is the irony. Yeah, one of the smallest guys on the park in any given match, and he's the wee man that seems to get himself up there for headers. He's pretty good. I think, you've got to say 1 goal in every 14 corners, who Lincoln average 3-4 corners per game. Yeah, but how many corners per game do Rangers average? Probably more than that, you would suggest, given the amount of attack and play we have, and we very seldom score from them. And it's not just about scoring from them, it's the defending for them.
Yeah,
look at the goals we've conceded, in particular over the last wee while. There is a common pattern that emerges, Martin. You look at a common theme, and it is usually a set piece or a cross coming into our box that we don't deal with, that there's a man left unmarked, that somebody goes off his man, the keeper comes and flaps at it like at Kilmarnock game and misses it, or it's just Keystone Cops stuff at times, so it needs addressing. I don't know why it's taken us this long to address it, because we've all seen this issue for a significant period of time. But what I will say is whatever this guy comes in and does, and I hope he does a great job, of course, he can only work with the tools he's got at his disposal at the moment, Martin. And I'm not so sure that this defence are a defence, regardless of how much coaching you can give them, that are capable at this point. So I think he's going to need reinforcements, regardless, in January to try and help him along his way.
Oh yeah, he 100% is. And of course, as Barry's saying here, Fry's also worked with Elwell at Wolves. He has. Don't he? No, according to he has. He worked with Elwell. How closely they work together, I don't know. I really, really don't know. But at least it's something that we've done, Connor. Something that had to be addressed. Thelwell's talked in his interview about more coaches coming into different areas. I know that they have had discussions about the academy with a new academy director coming in. So that, as slow as it has been, there does seem to be work getting done behind the scenes by the club.
There is, yeah. We know from Thelwell's interview, obviously they're still looking at bringing in another coach to be in Danny Rill's coaching team, a coach who knows Scottish football well, knows the club well. They're kind of going down that that sort of quote unquote Rangers man route. The two main candidates at the moment seem to be Stephen Davis and Neil McCann. They're certainly the favourites. Lee Wallace is obviously a name that's been mentioned in there before as well. I did hear your conversation the other day there about George Alberts, which would have been an interesting shout, I have to admit, but a German connection. Although I would be surprised if that's who they announced. I think it is likely to be McCann or Davis. So I get,
should be Der Hammer. Should be Der Hammer.
Oh yeah, but what's his coaching credentials?
I don't care. I just want Der Hammer in the club.
I get that. But I think it is a positive sign that they are making those moves. They need to start getting the ball rolling quickly, though, because what I'm frustrated with a little bit is why have we not made that appointment yet? We are back in action this weekend in the league. We're back playing. I believe it's against, is it Falkirk? I think it is.
Is it not Livingston?
Maybe Livingston. I know they're very soon after each other, so I can't remember which one comes first. But
we're a professional Rangers podcast. Livingston. Of course, we all knew it was Livingston.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you talking about, Martin? I knew that. That's what I said. But Livingston, yeah. But I assumed, and I think we all did, with this international break coming, that this stuff would get done and dusted. That we would make a set piece coach appointment, tick off the line. We've done that. Now we need to get that coach in, because again, the whole point was surely we'll do it now, because there is no, after tomorrow, there is no international break left this year. And now that they've done away with the winter, there's no winter break anymore either. So you're looking at between now and I think February, March time when the next international break is. You can't wait to March to make that appointment. So get it done now.
We were told that an appointment would likely be made during this international break.
We were, and we're on Monday. There's still time to do it before the weekend. But I would imagine you want them to come in with a couple of days at least to get his surroundings. I guess if it was Neil McCann, maybe he wouldn't really need that time, given he was just there a few months ago, and there's a lot of new players, but there's a lot of familiar faces for him as well. So it maybe wouldn't take him as long to get sort of settled in. But I think at the latest, Martin, I'd want it done by Thursday.
And just finally then, Connor, Nadim Bayrami has come out and said that he has no plans to leave Rangers, despite his manager at Albania saying otherwise. He's saying he's not thought about leaving Rangers. He's no plans to leave Rangers. Do we see a bit of a resurrection for Bayrami?
Well, look, I think as tends to be the case when new managers come in the door, and whether fans like it or agree with it or not, there does tend to be a bit of a clean slate. Players do tend to get an opportunity because new managers like to make their own assessments and their own decisions on these players rather than just do what the previous one did. I imagine he'll get a chance at some point. When that'll be, I don't know. Maybe it'll be this weekend against Livingston. But certainly, I would like him to get an opportunity. Do I think he's got a long-term future? Probably not. But I think you have to give him that chance, because before But the one appearance he did make an appearance against, I think it was Celtic at Ibrox. He actually played quite well in that game when he came on, and so he showed glimpses here and there. I think it's always a positive thing when someone actually wants to be at the club. That shows the right attitude from the off, that he wants to be there and he wants to help. It's whether he's got the quality to do it. And I think Rule will give him that opportunity. Where he plays him will be interesting because that midfield is a packed area.
Well, on that, Sean is saying, Albania played him on the right wing. The right wing against England, and he done well. So I don't know. He's back in the Albania team. Maybe he just lost his smile for a little while, Connor. Maybe he's got that smile back.
But like Shawn Michaels back in the 90s.
Yes.
I don't know what happened there. Martin muted himself in mid-sentence.
I don't know what happened there, Ira. I'm telling you, no idea. But you know what I was doing. You knew what
I knew what you were doing. Yes. Why not? When you're looking at the options we've got, Shona points them out as well. Asgard, Ant-Man, out there, have they overly impressed? Asgard's, apart from scoring a pretty good goal, not done much else. Ant-Man, I think there's a player in Ant-Man, and I will die on that hill. There's a player there because what I seen for him in his first game before he got coached into how to be a rubbish football player by Russell Martin, he was very, very good. So there's something there. It's how Danny Rule gets that out of him. Why not give Bainami the opportunity? If these guys aren't performing at the moment, give somebody else the ball to run with. Because the worst that's going to happen is he doesn't perform either, and then you just revert back anyway. So you don't have much to lose by giving him the chance. Nobody can hear you, Martin. Sorry, folks. Martin's having...
My microphone keeps unplugging itself, and I've no idea why. I've got no idea why. Right, but before we go, there's a couple of things that we do need to say. 6:30 tonight, so in just over an hour's time, on public YouTube, we have the women's show. And then at 7:15 tonight, on the Rabble members page, which if you're not a member of yet, click the link in the description. Join up as a member now, as Dode the Greek has done. He has joined the Rabble supporter tier. Thank you very much, Dode. Hopefully we see you tonight at 7:15 for your Monday night Rabble, which, like I say, is only available live on the Rabble members page. If you prefer to listen back to your podcast and you're not really a big live watcher, if you're listening to this back and going, "Oh, Martin, I would join, but I don't really watch the shows live," then join up on Patreon. All the shows then get re-uploaded on Patreon after the fact, and you can listen back at your listening pleasure. And then at 9 p.m. tonight, for all channel members as well, we've got the WWE 2K25 Rabble Wrestling hosts versus members, members versus members, hosts versus hosts. And we have got a new setup, which means there will be two people hosting tonight, I believe, Connor.
There will, indeed, yes, assuming you haven't deleted the layouts that myself and Ian worked very hard on earlier.
No, I haven't.
Yes, we have managed to finally crack that nut. Of being able to get another body on there. So yeah, it should be a good night, and at least Hamish won't have to go flying solo again this time. So I very much looking forward to that show. Make sure you're tuned in at 9 o'clock. And as always, if you don't already have a character and you want one, there's still time to make an appearance tonight if you hit Ian up or send an email to Martin.
If you're a member and you're on the Discord as well, it's a lot easier. Connor, I do have to say that I completely forgot about this super chat, which is shocking of me. But Spinning Bird Flip, thank you very, very much, my friend, for the support. Channel member as well. We will talk about this again because I meant to bring it up at the time, Connor, and for some reason I don't know why I didn't do it. So sorry, Spinning. I think, and we'll go back to the Nico Raskin stuff. I think Nico will be happy to run his contract down and get the big signing on fee and bumper wage. I doubt we can force him to move on. That was an angle that we didn't look at it from, Connor, that even if Spurs do come in for him now and Rangers do accept the offer, Nico could look at that and go, well, there's a World Cup and my contract's running out. And if I do really well at a World Cup, then I could be going to a club and getting a significant signing on fee.
Yes, that would be a cynical way to look at it, I have to say. But listen, there's always that bit of a pessimist in myself as well, so I can understand it. We have been bummed in similar situations like that before. I don't see it, because I think one thing you'd have to say is that whilst he could do that, if Spurs come in and they make a good offer to us and he's got the prospect of going to a Premier League club with the wages that he'll get there, because it's no kid ourselves, Spurs or no, they'll be able to pay him much more wages than we can. To not take that and choose to sit out and, or not sit out, but choose to run down your contract to get that big signing on fee could potentially, not saying it would, but it could put off some potential buyers. Not because clubs don't accept players that do that, but because, with the greatest respect and as much as I love the wee man, I don't think he's a big enough player that he could get away with those type of shenanigans yet. If he'd done that whilst at Spurs and proved himself in the Premier League, different story. 100% different story. I just don't think he can get away with that at this point in his career.
Plus, there's maybe a wee bit too long left on his contract to be able to do that. Maybe a year and a half. A year and a half. Maybe just a wee bit. Yeah, because anything can happen in that time. Absolutely anything can happen in that time. Now, quick question for everybody watching this and watching back just before we go. Now, I've spoken about these quite a lot on the show, but I'm going to do it one more time. Have you got your B&M slippers yet?
Oh,
right? Have you got them yet? And if you have got them, could you tell me what you think of them? Because I think they're outstanding, right? And by the way, another wee bit of news. Apparently, it's going to get to -4 tonight, right? So if you've got your B&M slippers, let me know how you feel with them. Can I just say that I was told over the weekend that they were sold out in Ballymena. So if you're looking to sponsor, if you're looking to get a bit of advertisement, then the Rabble is the place for you. We sold out these slippers in Ballymena. So let's just put into context how big that is. Right, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. RangersRabble@gmail.com if you're looking for any type of sponsorship. The Rabble can facilitate all your sponsorship needs. Connor, mate, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Yes, I enjoyed all of that apart from the slippers.
It's not meant to be funny, multiple man. It's not meant to be funny. I stand by these slippers.
These slippers just will never die, will they?
No, they won't.
How much was it again? $3.99 B&Ms?
£3.99.
£3.99. There you go. Perma-grip soles and everything.
Yes, the best slippers known to man. Right, folks. Right back here at 6:30. And join the guys and girls for the Rangers Women's Show. And then for all our lovely, beautiful, wonderful members, you can join us at 7:15 on the Rangers Rabble membership page on YouTube. If you are on Patreon, then you can listen back just a little bit after the show has ended. And then, of course, again, for the members at 9 p.m, you can join Connor and Ian for the WWE 2K25 Rabble Wrestling Showdown. So once again, thank you for the super chats, everybody in the comments. Thank you very much, Connor. And we shall all speak. I've not set the outro, Connor. We shall all speak very, very soon.